Hey there, it's Pete over at The Samplist, and today we are checking out Spitfire Audio's Albion Legacy. Albion Legacy is the first in the Albion series, Albion 1, and it was released several years ago at a time where composers wanted the cinematic sound. So this Albion is where it all began. It is a full orchestra split into its ensemble parts, and of course it has the content such as the Stevenson Steam Band, the Brunel loops, and of course the Darwin percussion that we've all grown to love. It downloads at 28.3 gigabytes and it requires the free Kontakt player 5.6.8 or higher. Please note that this is not NKS compatible and is not a Spitfire Audio plug-in instrument. It currently sells at £199 and that is the price that it's going to remain at. It's not on intro price despite recently being released. Of course, if you are a teacher or a student, you can currently get 40% off until the 31st of October. So really, value for money for a full orchestra, it really is up there. In this video, what we are going to do is have a look at Albion Legacy, see what it contains, have a little play around, and then of course I'm going to throw it into a composition situation and we're going to see what that works out like. And of course I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Spitfire Audio for sending over a copy of Albion Legacy so we could make this video. While we get the instruments for free, it does not influence our opinion, thoughts or ideas on the instruments. However, I have really enjoyed Albion Legacy. When I started composing, Albion Legacy didn't exist because it was discontinued, so this is kind of like a new library for me. Without further ado, let's jump straight in. And here we have Albion Legacy loaded up in Kontakt 5. And the reason I went with Kontakt 5, this is a legacy product, and it says Kontakt 5 is the requirement, so I wanted to go old school and load up Kontakt 5. So Kontakt 5, beautiful. Now, you can see you've got the Brunel loops, Darwin percussion, we've got Stevenson Steam Band, and we've got the Albion Orchestra. So of course, I'm going to start off with the Albion Orchestra. And you can see on the left-hand side, everything is split up into ensembles. So we have high-low, and medium for brass. We've got a piano, but that is a muted piano, like a staccato. And then we've got strings high and low, and we've got woodwind high and low. So I've loaded up the high strings, and it sounds like this. And there we go. So that's the shorts articulation. That's the first one that loads up. If you are used to other Spitfire products, you'll remember how the articulations work. So you kind of have to select them by clicking on them. So we've got pizzicato. And these are ensemble strings, so you do get a great range. So go to a high D, and then down to that C. And the next one is long. And of course the range. So the range is absolutely stunning, and you can hear just when you're working with the mod wheel. It's got a great dynamic range. And then we have the console longs. Sound great. And we have the shorts, which are now octaves. Now, I just tried to play, and I've got to load the articulation by clicking on the articulation. That is my silliness. Lovely. And then let's load it the next one. And we have octave longs. So love the strings, essentially. There we go. Long console octaves. That sounds beautiful. Then we have the short ostinatum. So of course you can trigger the ostinatum. I feel like I'm just scratching around there. And we've got legato. So we do have legato, and then we've got console legato. Sounds great. And then octave legatos. Lovely. And there is the option for polyphonic legato. So if let's go back to the legato patch. You've got to be very precise playing them both at the same time. So that's very, very cool. And then we have some effects. I'm just going to load these three banks up. So effects 1. Oops. So some really cool like horror movie type effects. That's quite loud. So there we go. And that's just the high strings. So the content is really, really big. And obviously, I kind of brushed over the ostinato function. And I'm going to be completely honest, I've forgotten how to use it. And there's no shame in mentioning that, but I will remember how to do that saying it. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, I'm just going off on one there. So the GUI, you have different mics you can use, which is good. Got the outriggers there, my personal favourite, which is wonderful. And yeah, you got the settings, and of course the sort of CC MIDI controls as well. So it's very, very cool. And that is just the first instrument. So let's have a quick listen to some of the string lows. And apologies for this void here. I couldn't remove it due to the thingamajig here. I'm making a lot of sense now. It's the ostinatum. It has really thrown me because I've used it several times and for some reason I just cannot remember. Anyway, lows. And they go really low. Lovely. And then we have, I'll play some pizzicato. There you go. If you write dramedy, grab some pizzicato. I'm going to go straight for the legato. So I'm just going to load that up. That's growling. And you can actually see, this takes you back to just Contact 5. The notes are sticking. That is not an Albion issue. Yeah. Now, let's look at brass. So we've got low, medium, and high. So I'm just going to go for the low so we can see what the brass sounds like. There we go. Let's just start off with some long brass. Now, I can see there's no legato brass. This is what the low sounds like. Okay, so it's raspy. I love the release. And the attack. Very, very cool. Let's just play it short. So I'm hammering my controller, but it has some power behind it. And then we've got some effects. I keep pressing the key. There's only, what, 7 keys that have a sample on. I keep pressing them. And again, these are mod wheel responsive. So I'm quite a fan of the Electronic brass effects. Then we've got the mid brass. So let's just go straight for a long. There we go. Now you'll notice that we have legato on the mid brass. Okay, then of course we have the longs. And you do get that sort of warm choral. And then you get more of a raspy. brass higher up. Okay, and then again we have brass shorts. Lovely, and some effects. No effects there. Sorry, there are no effects. That's my eyes deceiving me. There's two little rests. It does say switch to FX1. There's a key that won't get pressed. Well, there we go. No effects. We're not allowed them. That might just be my contact playing up. It is doing some funny things. So I'll have to double check that. If we go to, not effects high, if we go to, yeah, see the effects are there. Maybe it just isn't on mid brass, but on the high brass. So I'm just going to load those up. I will just reload the other one just in case. This is the high brass. So that's the legato, and again, it's an ensemble, which is why obviously you're hearing more than one instrument. And then we have some shorts. And we have some effects. Dramatic. Love it. And that is the brass. And I'm just going to load the mid brass again, just see if there are any. No, there we go. I must have imagined it. Now, if we go on the piano very, very quickly, you'll notice we have piano shorts. Shorts that ring. Shorts that are muted. And then we have some effects. I'll be using this with the Bernard Herrmann composing toolkit. There we go. And finally we have the woodwinds. So start off with the high woodwinds. Love the woodwinds of this library. Lots of shorts. Shorts alternative. We've got longs. And alternative longs. Lovely. Legato, of course. And some effects. So I'll load the first patch. Yowzers. I feel like I'm in classic Star Trek. Don't know why. That's the high woods. Well, I do know why. It's the sound effects. It's another hot day in the UK. So not using that as an excuse to keep losing my train of thought. But yes. Lovely. And so there's no alternative shorts. There are longs. Let's use a mod wheel. Lovely. Legato. Gotta load it. And then we have some effects. Let's load effects number 2. Very chattery. So there we go. That is the Albion Orchestra. But then there's more. So it's a very sort of functioning ensemble high, ensemble low, and obviously the mid. Kind of like just, yeah, ensemble-based orchestra. But then we have the Brunel loops, which, yeah, sound like this. I'm just going to turn down the track. So I've got a feeling they're going to be quite loud. Goodness. I'll say they're quite loud. They're actually not that loud comparatively. So that's the bamboo chiffs, and these are really dry, so you can do a lot with them. I'm going to just turn it down a little bit more. Then we've got the big bottle. That's very percussive. Let's do a dulcimer eighths. Beautiful. Frame drum. Guitar. So they're really good percussive and organic percussive elements. Yeah, slightly out of time. MIDI pan, actually quite a lot out of time. Brilliant. Let's see small bottle. So they are very, very creative. You can see the contact was just almost like peaking there, but I'm looking at my own meters and they're not that loud to the point where they're distorting. Then we've got the Darwin percussion ensemble. Let's do percussion hits. The percussion is absolutely awesome. Just gonna bring it up slightly. Okay, so we've got some sub hits, then we got low hits. Absolutely love them. Mid hits. Oops, we're up here. Absolutely love these percussion. High. Then we have high stick hits. And then we have everything. So yeah, the percussion is really, really meaty, as it were. Meaty. It's got lots of low end. The cymbals are amazing. Releases. I love a good cymbal roll. It's got a variety of different lengths there. So yep, cymbals are brill. The pièce de la résistance is the East Island hits. These are actually in Albion 1, and this is where I discovered them and use them for everything, but these hits are just brilliant. And it's bordering on sound design there. And then we have the Metal Shop. Oops. So it's set up for two-hand drumming. And then we've got some swells. Isn't that swell? Terrible joke. It's got low, and then we've got medium. Then we've got high. And then finally, we have all. There we go. Nice little rumble. And then Stevenson's Steam Band. So we've got pads, drones, atmosphere, ostinati, and then the redux or redo. So we go. So this is the more sound design part of Albion 1. So of course MW stands for Mod Will. Just going to play a couple. Heavy cinema. And then we've got some drones. Distant steam machine. Very cool. Trumpet attack, because why not? Got some Atmos, so there's a choir orchestra. Ghost Shipyard. Very atmospheric. Ostinati, let's do Cathedral. This is a Mod Will patch. Plague Pits. It sounds pleasant. Good stuff. And Steam, no, I just loaded that. And Steam Redux. Deep Dock. That is mod will affected. That's beautiful. Falling the young, I believe it says. Failing the young. Just feeling a bit old with my eyes. I mean, that is absolutely gorgeous. Just giggling, so I don't know what I'm on about. I'm finding it quite difficult to read the titles, so I do apologise for that. And there we go. That's Stevenson's Steam Band. Lots to discover in there. You can see the amount of presets we had going on. And that's Albion 1. There is a lot of content, like a lot. The standouts for me, I just think the percussion's amazing. It's percussion that, you know, I've already said, for me, it's a new library, because I've never, ever played Albion Legacy, like the original one. I have Albion 1, which does contain some legacy patches, but not to this extent, and I'm really, really impressed. So percussion's amazing. I love the strings, the brass choral effect, the woodwinds are wonderful, and then of course you've got the sound design extras, and I'm always looking for pulses and different sound design sounds, and the orchestral, like elatoric effects. Really, really cool. So much content, and when you think, like I say, it's £199 plus any discounts that you may be eligible for, it is awesome. So what we're going to do is put it into a composition. Now, I've actually shot this video backwards. I made the composition first because I want to spend a couple of hours exploring Albion, and then I set myself a timed limit of 45 minutes just to get this composition going. For some reason, I said the Brunel loops were called Brunei loops. So I'm the one going loopy. So ignore that. Very silly. But yeah, so let's jump into the composition and see what it's like to compose with. And there we have the composition featuring Spitfire Audio's Albion Legacy. And in fact, if you look on the left-hand side, it is 90% Spitfire Audio Albion Legacy. And of course, I've used their BBC SO piano. And I've used Mix 1, and then I've created my own kind of like airy mix, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Now, Albion Legacy was released when composers wanted more cinematic sounds they could use. And I found it really, really easy just to use Albion Legacy for this composition. And I decided to go with a fairly slow piece, a bit dramatic. It's the kind of thing that would be television underscore, as it were. And it just worked really, really well. And it took about 45 minutes to put together. So yeah, let's just jump in. So it did start off with the BBC Piano Mix 1, just playing a really, really simple melody. It is a great piano, and we have reviewed it on the channel elsewhere, so feel free to check that out. And then, of course, I went straight for my favourite. So I use Albion 1, and there are some legacy patches contained within. And one of those is the Easter Island Hits. I've just noticed I spelled island wrong, but hey, it doesn't matter. Combined, it sounds like this. Now, they are instant low-end fillers. I absolutely love the Easter Island Hits, use them so much. And then we've got one of the Brunei loops. So the good old pumpkin string. Now, at the top, I've just played in a really, really simple low brass line as well under the piano. So you can see the automation going there, sorry, the modulation. And it just kind of adds a little bit more low end. And then of course we have the strings as well. So we've got octave legatos and the high longs and the low longs. And I do like composing using just pan slightly to the left for the highs and to the right for the lows. And it's a time saver, let's put it that way. So as I was just changing track, there's a little bit of audio interference, as it were. So I'm just going to play that again, but you can see my negative delay set to 90 milliseconds. And I've sort of panned subtly just to give it a bit more width, even though I believe these are pre-panned. So the strings do sound stunning, and again, I've got modulation going all the way through. Yeah, just building up the tension, as it were, and it's very, very responsive. Very, very cool. So altogether, we have a nice intro like this, and I've added a cymbal swell, which now I've heard the demo a few times, I might have taken one or two of them out, and we've got a gong, which again I love. And then I'm going to talk about the percussion. Brilliant. So we have this percussion line working with the East Island Hits. I love the percussion from this library. So I've done it with the Easter Island Hits. It's just really heavy and hard hitting. And of course we got our short strings as well coming in. Now these are very responsive to velocity as well, so they sound great, absolutely brilliant. But I possibly am a little bit uneven in my programming there, so that's something to note. But yeah, they sound brill. So with everything in, just this section sounds like this. And then it goes, there's a little cymbal as well. Then it goes into this brassy build-up. It's an A minor section. And again, if I just solo this brass, I love the sort of choral feature of the brass. Then add that to some woodwinds, or add some woodwinds to that. Absolutely beautiful. And I love these woodwinds. So I'm going to isolate the woodwind solo in a moment. So if I just play that just with the piano, we get an idea of how that section sounds. Some gorgeous sounds going on there. Now we're going to the next section. I'm just going to isolate the almost like woodwind solo. I love the sound of these woods. And you may have noticed I've not given my woodwind players much of a chance to breathe in this section. So I would drop in a little pause somewhere. But I just love the timbre of these woods. They sound incredible. So we're back to the section A, as it were. But I've added a couple more things. So we have another loop. We've got the extend loop going on. So the two loops together sound like this. Beautiful. But add some percussion to that as well. Okay. A little bit out of time there. I probably added the percussion at the worst time. But yeah, so it creates a really nice rhythmical bed. And then along with the strings as well. Let's play those. And I've automated the volume of those next to the other strings. And added the airy piano part as well. Just going to play that again so it's in time. Obviously the loops are loop based, so if I start them midway through a bar, they get sound out of time, which is what's been happening a little bit. And there we go. So that's the extra sections. And of course, we've got our woodwind solo. So without the extra percussion and the cymbal swells and gongs, etc., and string longs, it actually sounds like some very cool underscore. And there we go to the end section. And I just wanted to play the brass melody just then so you could hear it in context. The brass sounds very majestic. And I really, really love the sort of kind of warm sound it has. And of course, that's the mid brass as well. So, and then we got our ending. So I'm just going to play the ending. I took the cymbal out. But there we go. So yeah, we keep the kinetic motion of the strings in the piano, and yeah, it's just a nice, definite ending, as it were. And normally I do automate a stereo out, but I didn't this time. So the piano is ringing a little bit. But there we go. That's the composition. 2 parts, but well, 3 parts really. And it's just built up using different sounds from Albion Legacy. So, as I said, it took about 45 minutes to put this composition together. And Albion Legacy is really, really easy to work with. It's very, really quick. You get results very, really quickly. And that's the whole point of an ensemble-based library. And of course, as I've already said, it's the first sort of cinematic sounding Albion. And it was a bit of a departure, sort of going away from realism to this cinematic sound, and it's absolutely nailed. So for me, Albion Legacy holds up today. As I rhapsodize about, I use a lot of Spitfire products, but I'll be using the strings, for example, to layer into my symphony strings, my Hans Zimmer strings, and chamber, and shit, just naming all the strings now. And the brass, I love the choral effect, and I'll be using that. Normally I use studio brass for that and just put some reverb on, but this kind of has that choral sound that I want. And of course, you don't want to layer brass to the point where you're phasing the brass in your mix, but you can sort of mix and match these brass ensembles as well. And then of course, the percussion, I think it's amazing. It reminds me when I picked up Abbey Road 1. Did get it, bought it on release day. Really, really excited. And it's a great library, but the percussion really stood out for me. And then without realising it, since that's been released, I've got that percussion on every single track that I've done. It just sounds incredible. And then we do have the brilliant Albion Legacy percussion. And I'm really... I was going to say intrigued. It just sounds so good. Yeah, I'm just blown away by the percussion. And then, of course, the woods, they just sound brilliant. So I would happily use those as an alternative to other woodwind instruments that I use. And then you can see it fits beautifully with a piano. So, of course, the BBC SO piano works amazingly well. The Hans Zimmer piano would. The Olafur Arnolds. Anything you want to use, it's going to work amazingly well. So am I impressed? I am. Not only for the age of the library, just how much usable material there is here, because it's big, it's expansive, and it really is great value for money. As ever, there are some closing thoughts about Albion Legacy from Spitfire Audio. First of all, it's £199. So when you think you're getting a complete orchestra in ensemble form, and you are getting the Brunei loops, and you're getting the Stevenson Steam Band, there is a lot going on. I love, like say, things like the East Island hits, because that's bordering more on sound design, and it is a very, very cinematic library. But like I say, for £199, the bang for buck is absolutely incredible. If you're a teacher or you're a student, you can of course get 40% off Albion Legacy. And the way Spitfire obviously have frequent sales, the chances are this is going to be on sale. But at £199, it is a bargain. The other Albions retail at £399, and there's a vast amount of content in those. But I'm really, really impressed with how much is packed into Albion Legacy. The second thing that I find really, really appealing is, while it is an older library, and as much as I am a completionist, and I must have every Albion, probably, I don't know. We tend to get the gas, as it were, as musicians. This is stuff I'm going to use. So the percussion I'm going to be using in productions. The strings, like I say, I'm going to be layering up. I'll be using everything in this library. And of course, I also talk about different styles like crime, etc. The Brunei loops are perfect for that. Throw some reverb on, do a bit of sound design, and you've got like almost, I don't know, like a cybercrime type situation going on, if you want it to be like that, or it could be more organic. There's just so much in here. So yes, I really do recommend it, and I don't want to call it a sketching library, because these are sounds that will find their way into the finished production. So for me, it's not a sketching library, even though it is ensemble based, but it's a very usable library, as I feel that my demo hopefully is proven, because I've used just Albion Legacy apart from the BBC Piano SO. So that just shows everything is there that you quite possibly need. And of course it's lightweight, so this is going straight on my mobile composing rig, which I take to gigs and I work on in between sound checks and things. Works really, really well. But of course I can bring the project back to my main studio and carry on working there. So yeah, brilliant. So for me, it is a huge recommendation. If you are an Albion fan, I really would pick this one up. All that leaves me to say is thank you once again for checking out this video from Spitfire Audio, and of course thank you to Spitfire for sending over a copy of Albion Legacy so we could make this video. If you like what you heard, feel free to drop a like on the video and leave a comment. What do you like about Albion Legacy? How would you use it? Has anything surprised you about Albion Legacy? And then, if you've not done so already, please check out our other videos. We've got quite the catalogue of different instruments that have been covered by myself and the team. And of course, if you could subscribe to us, that would mean the absolute world to us. We've got lots more videos coming and just a lot more content to be made. But of course, it is the subscribers that keep us coming back for more. Until next time, have a great day and keep making that amazing music. Take care.